All right, everybody, can you hear me? Can you see me okay? There's always that little delay. Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Happy Friday. Thank you for joining today's live stream. Happy to see everybody here today. Happy to see all of our community hanging out on a Friday live stream. So happy to have you all. Let me know if I look weird or if I sound weird. I did make some changes to my camera, and so now I have a camera that is for live streaming. And so I do just want to make sure that everything looks good and gravy. Great, awesome. Well, I hope everyone is doing okay. Thank you all for joining today's live stream. We are going to be looking at Nichol Kessinger's own words today. Yes, we're going to be looking at the statement that she wrote to the police. Very, very funny stuff that I found in that statement just through the stuff that I have combed through very quickly. I have looked through some of these bullet points and the way that she remembers how the affair went. Very interesting to hear from her. But yeah, before we get to that, I would appreciate, yeah, if you are watching and you're not subscribed to my channel yet, please do go ahead and subscribe. Subscribing is free and it does help the channel and it helps my content just get to a wider audience. So that is the best way to help me out, guys. Thank you so much. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and check out memberships. Yeah, if you want to support my channel in other ways, you can check out memberships. You do get some access to some perks as well. And yeah, with that being said, I also do appreciate some super chats. So if you do want to really capture my attention, the best way to do it is with a super chat will just pop up and I'll read whatever you say. And then of course, the other way to get a hold of me is just by throwing all the emojis, right? The best ones, the ones I will say that capture my attention the most are the twister tiles, right? The little twister circles. It does, for some reason, I see just colors on my screen and I'm like, oh, there it is, right? So that's definitely the best way to get my attention, right? And if we are going through this collaboration process together. Yeah, thank you guys so much. And thank you to all of my moderators. I'm so happy to see you all. Thank you for everything you do in the chat and in the channel and keeping everybody safe and welcome in our channel. Love you guys. All right. Well, now that we've gotten those little things out of the way, I do have to get used to, doing those things. And I realize, oh, I'm a content creator. There are certain things that I do need to do, right, to be able to get my videos out to a wider audience. And it's just, it's just one of those things that I just like to get to it. I'm like, yeah, let's just go ahead and talk about it. Thank you, Curious Christine. Thank you so much. Welcome to members. Thank you. Yeah, let's go ahead and celebrate. Celebrate. I do need to figure out a different song. I can't keep using that song for everything. Yeah, I don't want somebody to come after me and be like, "That is not your song. Come up with something else." The only song I've invented so far is Chris Doesn't Have a Soul. If you haven't heard it, yeah, it's on Spotify. Just kidding. No, it's not. It's not on Spotify whatsoever. Yes, Carolette, I do see those bright colors. um, yeah, if you haven't heard the song yet, it's called Chris Doesn't Have a Soul. He doesn't have a soul. Chris doesn't have a soul. He doesn't have a soul. Chris never had a soul. Yeah, yeah, that's basically it. And then it just repeats. That is the only song I have so far. And so, yeah, just got to figure another one out. But all right, thank you all so much for being here. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into this statement that Nicole Kessinger wrote here. Now, this is part of the discovery. I'm sure, you've seen this, with all the content that is out there on Nicole Kessinger. I'm sure we've seen this numerous times. But just, for the sake of our calendar, it's very important to go through everything that she wrote so that we can add anything to our calendar that we have missed just in case, right? Like, just in case there's something going on that she said that was pretty interesting. And with everything happening and all of the evidence that we have uncovered, there's just so many things that we still miss, it's just part of it, right? There's so much footage and all this evidence and all of these channels bringing things together, and so we still miss things. So yeah, let's just go ahead and go over it, and of course, we're also here to really see what she believed the relationship to be like. What did she think about the relationship? And more importantly, what is she lying about in her whole statement? What is she omitting? What are the things that she doesn't want to talk about? Right? Those are all the things that we're going to see as her statement continues. All right. So the first thing, right? Here we have Nicole Lee Kessinger, and she's a witness slash victim slash complainant. I think that's pretty interesting that she's a complainant. She's only a complainant because she saw Chris Watts on the news acting like a complete idiot, and she's like, "Holy shit, I need to call the police right away." That's when she became a complainant. That's when she became a witness. And then, her acting, those little girls. That's what made her the victim, right? Oh, it's not fair to her, and it's not fair to me, but it's especially not fair to me. Oh, feel sorry for me, right? That is all of her acting skills we've already seen. And so, it does track. Of course, she's going to be a victim when she's acting that way. And and then we see, the rest of it. Right here are the suspects. We have Chris Watts, of course. And let's just go ahead and see how this begins, right? So on September 4th, okay, so we're starting with September 4th, okay? The murders happened August 13th. So almost an entire month has passed. And this is when she's submitting her statement, right? So almost a whole month. Remember, Nichol Kessinger doesn't remember anything that happened even just 2 days prior, right? She doesn't remember the 111-minute phone call that she had with Chris Watts. And we're expecting her to remember everything a whole month later. Of course, right? I guess that makes sense. All right. So then on September 4th, at approximately 1300 hours, so at 1 p.m., um, I met with Nichol Kessinger at the CBI headquarters located on Kipling and Lakewood. I was introduced by CBI, right, Special Agent Kobach, who had interviewed her several times previous to my introduction. I advised Nicole that I am now her point of contact regarding this case, and that S.A. Kobach would attend other cases he was assigned to at CBI. Interesting. Kevin got pulled from this case. Oh, he was no longer, allowed to talk to Nichol Kessinger. I wonder why. Nicole acknowledged this information and presented me with a 7-page typed document that she generated containing notes of events that she had recalled since her last meeting with Kevin Kobach. The events documented reportedly occurred between June 25th and August 13th. Okay. So here we go. We're going to hear Nichol Kessinger's memories from June 25th all the way through August 13th. Again, she doesn't remember anything of importance, but we're about to read whatever she wrote months later. All right. I advised Nicole that I would review the notes she provided me, along with the reports and recordings from all the previous interviews, and contact her with any follow-up questions I may have. Nicole acknowledged my statement, and our meeting ended shortly thereafter. Kevin Kobach agreed to complete a follow-up interview with Nicole's friend and provide me the reports. Now, Nicole's friend, the person that we're talking about here, is Charlotte. This is because Kevin Kobach was reaching out to Charlotte a last time, and that was it. That was basically the end of the communication between Kevin Kobach and Nichol Kessinger. While at the CBI headquarters, I took custody of Nicole's cell phone, an iPhone 6, which she had previously surrendered to Kevin Kobach. I placed the cell phone into evidence and entered the CBI chain of custody form into the case file. Nothing further. All right. Now let's go ahead and see what she submitted. Let's go ahead and see what she submitted. This was submitted on September 4th. Okay. September 4th. And it starts with June 25th and June 26th. All right. Now, let's just go ahead and start with this first sentence. It's not even a sentence, it's a bullet point. Number one, let's go ahead and analyze her first bullet point. I mean, it really is this simple. And I read in the chat earlier, we're not even looking for the smoking gun anymore. I think at this point, the entire case file is a smoking gun. We're really just looking at inconsistencies at this point. We're looking at discrepancies, anything that doesn't match, and we're basically trying to put the puzzle pieces together in a way that makes the story flow. That's basically what we're doing here. Oh, thank you so much for the gifts, Lisa Jones. Thank you so much. Let's celebrate with Chris never had a soul. Chris never had a soul. Chris never had a soul. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. But yeah, see, look at this, okay? Approximately June 25th or June 26th. We're going to look at this already. I mean, she's already way off. Already way off. Approximately June 26th and 25th, right? She's bringing up way into a lot into their relationship already. She started with the week of the San Diego trip, right? I mean, look at it in person. I asked Chris Watts when he and Shanann had decided to separate. What about before? When did you meet? How did you meet Nichol? Right? She's already starting with chapter 3. Uh, Again, she was Googling Amber Fry's net worth. She was Googling Amber Fry book deal. How does she expect to write a book when she's starting at chapter 3? And then it was the morning of the murders. I asked Chris Watts, "Where's your family, Chris? Where's your family?" Okay, what about the first 2 chapters of the entire book? I can't start reading a book and it's already in the middle of the murder. Tell me what happened. Oh my goodness. Right? And if you're going to take me into this roller coaster ride of drama, at least make it legible. But it looks like that's not what's happening. She's not going to take the detective into, this intense storytelling mode where she starts with the murder and then she goes back in time and everything is in black and white and grainy. This is not what she's doing. She's starting already with, yeah, screw everything else. I met him. I don't remember when. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to put a date on it because if she doesn't put a date on it, then she can get away with lying more. This is all in writing. This is a written statement. Anything that goes down in this statement can be fact checked later. She can't just say, "Oh, that's not what I meant," or, "Oh, I coughed." You didn't hear me correctly, right? This is in writing. So she has to make sure that what she's writing doesn't incriminate her. And that's why she starts with June 25th. She doesn't start when she met Chris Watts. Macker, welcome. Welcome to members. Meek Ruley, welcome to members. Let's celebrate. Chris never had a soul. Chris never had a soul. Thank you guys so much. Welcome to members. Hey, Neffy Greyjoy, welcome. Welcome to Silver. Oh my goodness, guys. Thank you so much. Welcome. Welcome to the club. Yeah, 100% rock. She doesn't want to tie herself into anything incriminating. Exactly. Exactly. Googling can cops recover text messages. Right. She doesn't remember anything, yet here we are doing this, right? She's like, "I don't know when I met him, so let's just start with the future." Oh, Tammy Bates, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you for the super chat. Tammy says, "Since I can't do memberships from my iPhone, aw, but glad to see you all. Aw." Thank you so much, Tammy. I appreciate you so much. Chris never had a soul. Yeah, I don't know. Do we want that to be our new celebration song? You all let me know. Um, but yeah, right. Yeah, she wanted to get money after everything that happened, but I think that everyone would believe, yeah, she didn't think anyone would believe her and that she's innocent. Yeah, exactly, Erikisa. Right? Everything that she's writing, again, it's her version of the story. It's what she wants cops and the rest of the world to believe, which, you know, all of it is to protect Nichol Kessinger. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to the calendar. So she starts in the middle of the San Diego trip when in reality, look at this. It looks like Nichol Kessinger and Chris Watts probably met the first week of June if they're already emailing each other on June 12th. So why didn't she start with June 12th at the very least? There's documentation, there's evidence that they were talking on June 12th already. Erikisa, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Chris never had a soul. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, yes, definitely a new song. But yeah, this is the thing she's not mentioning at all. I started talking to him on the 12th during that email that I sent him, right? This is not what she started with. She started with way 2 weeks into the future. And look at this. She skipped the 19th. She didn't talk about the day that Chris Watts took the day off and didn't go to Shanann's ultrasound. Why did he take the day off? Our guess, right? We speculated, and I think we put up a poll. The majority of us believe that Nichol Kessinger and Chris Watts met at the park on this day. And that is why they both, or Chris, that is why Chris took the day off. We don't know about Nichol Kessinger's schedule that day. We don't know if she took the day off or not. But we know what Chris was doing, and he took the day off. But he also didn't go to the ultrasound. So where was he? Are we really going to believe that he was stuck in a tornado? Oh, Shanann, I can't go because I'm floating around in a tornado. Help me. Come on. So ridiculous. Fangs ablaze. Oh, upgraded to gold. Wow. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome to gold. Get access to everything. Lucky, thank you so much for the $5. I heard Chris introduced NK to Shanann in July 4th of 2017. Interesting. Do we have any of the info on that? Yeah, if you have any link or any information, please go ahead and send it in the community posts. I do look through those, like whenever I get a chance. I try my best to look through every day, but sometimes it's so insane everything I have going on, with the videos and stuff. But I do eventually get to them. So yeah, send anything my way that you have. But yeah, thank you so much, Lucky. Thank you for that information and thank you for the super chat. Yeah, that's July 4th. I mean, again, and we're seeing the same year pop up, 2017. 2017 is a very important year in my opinion. That's also when this other guy, Trent Bolte came into the picture, right? There's just a lot of weirdness with the 17th, or sorry, 2017. And it's also the time that Nichol Kessinger Googled Chris Watts and Shanann for the first time. So there could be something there. But yeah, I'll go ahead and write that down. July, when was it? July 4th, 2017. All right. Yeah, I didn't know this. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, look at this. Yeah, she's already ignoring everything else. Chris Watts added Nichol Kessinger to his phone log on the 14th. Why is he already adding a coworker, right? This tells us that the relationship started way before the 25th and the 26th. So Nichol Kessinger is already, from the very first number of the page, already omitting information. She's already lying. So obvious. This is black and white information. All right. In person is what she says. Look at how she starts. She says, asked. She doesn't say, I asked. I, Nichol Kessinger. She says, asked. Who asked? What? Thank you for the super chat. Love Buzz. I appreciate you all so much. Aw, thank you. Yeah, who did she ask? But anyway, or who asked, I should say. Who asked Chris Watts what? Asked Chris Watts when he and Shanann Watts had decided to separate. He told me late March, early April 2018. So that's how it started, apparently, right? They were at work. One day, Chris Watts comes into whatever office. Nichol Kessinger is too busy handing out gift cards to all the guys that she finds attractive. You're kind of cute today. I love what you're wearing. And then sees Chris Watts. Hi. So when did you and your wife decide to separate? That is how she's saying that the conversation started. That's how it started. Oh, I've never seen you in my life before. What's your name? Oh, Chris. Oh, okay. You're married, right? Yeah. So when was the last time that you decided that you and your wife were going to separate? Oh, really? Late March, early April? Oh my God. 5 gift cards for you. You're so cute. That's what she's claiming that happened. Apparently, I don't know how they met. That's how she's saying that they met. Oh, I was handing out gift cards. Apparently. How else did she meet him? Yeah. Yeah, starting with Rourke claiming it was a typo. Yeah, I definitely want more answers on why she Googled Shanann in 2017. Yes, Britt. Exactly. And yes, Julie. Yeah, the whole typo thing, right? This is what Rourke was saying. Oh, it's a typo. Of when she Googled Shanann and Chris Watts. Of course, it's not a typo. Google is not going to record a typo as a timestamp. But anyway, let's continue with Nicole's statements. All right, so that is what she's claiming, that Chris Watts told her that they decided to separate in March or April. Of course, we know that that is 100% bullshit. None of this is true. There was no thought of getting separated at all. Next bullet point. I asked if he still lived with her, and he told me yes. Said that when she was home, he slept in a different room. And when she was gone, he would occasionally sleep in the master bedroom, but not frequently because the bed was uncomfortable. What? All right, so he's saying supposedly, right? Again, this is what Nichol Kessinger is saying that Chris Watts supposedly told her. Do we want to believe this? Do we believe that Chris Watts was lying to her from the beginning? Of course not, right? Again, bullshit. BS. How do we know this? Because of the emails that they were sending one another. That is how we know. It's because of the emails that they were sending one another. Where are they? Let's go ahead and find them, shall we? I just love doing this. I like pulling up all of the contradictions. If I can find these emails, where are they? I just move everything everywhere. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay. Here it is. Look at this. June 5th. Gentlemen. Right, that's how she talks to the guys at work. Gentlemen. I spoke with my gas monitor vendor regarding your app access. Best regards, Nichol Kessinger. And then Chris replies, right? Chris is like, thanks, Nichol. Have a great rest of your day. This is on June 5th. Okay? Again, Nicole didn't start with the June 5th emails, right? She didn't start with, oh, Chris and I started flirting with one another via email. No, she didn't say that. Here is the email. Thanks, Nikki. Have a great rest of your day. And then she replies, right? It doesn't really show here. So it's June 5th and then on June 12th. Chris, thank you for being honest with me this morning. Truthfulness is so underrated in our culture. What culture is she talking about? What, the culture of what, homewreckers? I mean, yeah, absolutely. If you're going around wrecking homes, the culture is not going to have truthfulness. I mean, is that not common sense? You're not gonna have honesty when the culture is dishonesty. Like, come on. Of course. Ugh, truthfulness is so underrated. Yeah, because you're going after a married man. Hello. Why is water wet? That's just such a stupid question, but anyway. Oh, and then she responds in Espanol, right? She responds in in Spanish because again, I think Nicole Kessinger wanted to make herself, very, I don't know, interesting, right? She wants to make herself so cultured and interesting and worldly, right? Very intellectual. Saludos cordiales, mi amor. That's how she responded. And of course, Chris just bought it. He ate it up. He's like, "Oh my god. Do you eat tacos? I like tacos too." Right? He's trying to impress her with all of his cultural knowledge. So ridiculous. Yeah, wine from Argentina. Oh, I know that wine comes from Argentina. I just Googled it. He doesn't know where Argentina is, but he knows that it's somewhere else. I don't know. Is it on the East Coast? Where is Argentina at? Is it somewhere between Maine and Florida? God. But okay, so then we go here. It says, Nikki, I'm a straightforward guy. Lying just complicates things. I think you're absolutely stunning. And from what I've learned about you so far, you seem like an amazing person. I hope to continue to get to know you better since we have a lot in common. We have the same middle name, Lee. Oh, such an uncommon name. I've never heard anybody else with that name, says Chris Watts. Again, this is what they're calling saying that, that they have a lot of things in common. Something as ridiculous as just having the same middle name and being born around the same year. We're both millennials. Oh my god. So interesting, isn't it? I don't meet that many millennials these days in our culture. Robert Gray, thank you so much. Oh my god, thank you so much for the $10. I appreciate you so much. Hi, Rox. This is my first live. It's 3:15, 3:15 in the morning in Australia. Love you. Hate Chris and his icky ex, Nichol Kessinger. Thanks for all your hard work in not leaving this alone. The truth needs to come out. Bless you. Oh, thank you so much, Robert. I appreciate you. Oh my goodness, being up at 3:15 in the morning in Australia. Wow. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to let this go, right? When you see so many inconsistencies and the police did nothing about it. They looked into none of this evidence, which is just so overwhelming. Granted, all of it is circumstantial, but it is overwhelming. We can't deny that there is a lot that doesn't make sense. I mean, it's just obvious. I mean, look at it. Look at this. We're reading it right now. All right. That was June 12th, right? And then we see June 12th again. This is when Nicole Kessinger replies. Chris, agreed. It is always nice to find people you can relate to. I enjoy talking to you as well. I feel understood. I'm looking for someone to build a beautiful life. Seems so simple, but is so unrealistic sometimes. Build something similar to what you have done with your wife and those cute little girls. I do believe in karma. So, out of respect for myself, you, and your family, Chris, I think it is best if we keep that friendship at work. By the way, I keep the conversations we have between us. Mm. This is a blatant admission. This is an admission. She knew that Chris was married and had already built a beautiful life with his wife and those cute little girls. Right? She's already admitting. She's admitting that Chris Watts has a beautiful life. And here in her statement, She is claiming that Chris told her that they were already separated and that he was sleeping in a master bedroom. Come on. Really, are we to believe that from the first time that she emailed him to the following week, they had already separated? No, that makes no sense. And she's claiming that it happened before June. So again, contradiction, lie, lie. She knew all along that Chris Watts was married. That's a lie. Why does she not get at the very least charged for lying to the FBI, lying to investigators? That is a criminal offense. Why did she not get charged with anything, right? Unless the DA didn't want to do any work. It's really the only thing that makes sense is the district attorney of Weld County didn't want to do any work. And if he found Nichol Kessinger liable of anything, that means that he would have to do a full investigation into her and anybody else that might have potentially been involved. Again, that is just my opinion, but that's how I'm seeing it, just based on, again, everything that we have. And then on June 12th, Chris replies, yes, right? He's like, Nikki, yes, a beautiful life is something that is hard to find in this world since people always seem to have an agenda for everything, says the child murderer. I do believe in karma, so I agree with that as well. Any conversations we have will stay between us. No need to worry there. My phone number is blah blah blah, right? Or his work number. If you need to get a hold of me in the field, wink wink. Sometimes email can be tricky with my spotty service out here. I have an early morning meeting and then I'm doing LOTO, whatever that means, for a construction crew on various sites all day. So if I don't see you tomorrow, I hope you have an amazing day. Again, this conversation does not sound like just two coworkers who are just, they just met. Oh, I just met you. What's your name again? Oh, I don't remember your name. You're just a regular coworker. No, this sounds like the beginning of a relationship, and she made no mention of it in her statement. And this was June 12th. That was June 12th. So yeah, we already know that she is already lying. So obvious, right? It is so obvious. All right. All right. Yeah, give me a second here with my allergies. All right. Some days I'm good, some days I'm not. I just don't know. I'm like, oh, I woke up fine today. I won't have allergies. And then I'm here, like, trying not to just have mucus all over, and like sneezing and stuff. God, that hasn't happened to me yet. I haven't had a sneeze attack on a live stream. You guys should see that. Maybe not, because then you'll start seeing ads pop up for Zyrtec or some nonsense, right? If you're struggling with sneezing and allergies, try Zyrtec. Symptoms and side effects can include instant death, herpes out of nowhere, syphilis that just happened overnight, insomnia for the rest of your life, insanity. It just, the side effects go on and on and on. So let me not start sneezing on the live stream. No, May is the worst. I always take Benadryl. Yes, Julie. It is the worst. I have all of my meds right here. You guys can't see it. I have all the medication right next to me. It's awful. It's awful. Allergies are the worst. Am I the only one without allergies? Yes, Nithya, you are the lucky one. You're one of the lucky ones. Man, I would love to know what it's like to not have allergies in the springtime. It would be amazing. You breathe naturally and you speak without having to go. But anyway, all right, let's continue. All right. So yeah, so we saw the lies already, right? The lies about the master bedroom, all BS, right? BS. Come on. Oh, the bed is so uncomfortable. So supposedly that's why Chris is not sleeping there. Ridiculous. I asked why. Okay, sorry. Next bullet point. I asked why he had decided to separate from Shanann. Chris Watts told me Shanann was bossy. She puts it in quotation marks, right? Because she wants to let the investigator know that that's what Chris said. That's not what she said. Oh, I didn't say she was bossy. He told me that. So, in a way, saying I wasn't the one who put the idea in his head that his wife is bossy. That's what he's saying. Right. That's what Chris Watts or sorry, that's what what's her face? Nicole. That's what Nicole is saying here. She's trying to make it seem like it was Chris telling her all this stuff. "Oh, I'm not the one saying these things, officer. This is my boyfriend telling me all these evil things." And then she says, "I asked what he meant by bossy." Next bullet point. Chris Watts responded that she was controlling. Said that they really don't argue much, though. Said that once, many years ago, he attempted to stand his ground with her, and she told him, "Get out of my house," and made him leave for a night. Chris Watts said that he tried to avoid arguments ever since then. Said that now, if him and Shanann disagreed, she would make nasty comments to him, and he would just ignore them. Okay. Look at how much information she remembers about what they were talking about supposedly between June 25th and June 26th. She remembers this very specifically. Oh, she just makes nasty comments to him. She's already you see what she's doing here? She's already setting this narrative, right? That, "Oh, Chris is the one telling me that he's miserable. He's the one telling me that Shanann treats him like crap. He's the one telling me that he is a doormat and he's a punching bag and yada yada yada," right? This is how she's starting her narrative. All right. I asked if she talked like that in front of his kids. Again, what? She remembers something as specific as that? And why would you ask that? This statement here, right? In her asking, does she talk like that in front of kids? That is already creating some type of conflict, right? Because by her asking that, she's asking, "Oh my God, does she speak to you in front of the children that way? Oh, I can't believe she does that in front of your kids." Right? She's making it seem like it's worse than it probably is because she's bringing in extra conflict by asking a question like, "Oh, is she doing this in front of the kids?" As a way of, just changing the narrative again, trying to make it seem like it's Shanann who either took off, she's the evil one, she's the one who left with the kids, whatever, right? But they're trying their very best, allegedly, to try and make Shanann look like the villain in this whole story. He said, "Yes, my kid started to repeat her words, and that is why I wanted the separation." Look at this. Again, very clearly telling you, this is how I want you to read this statement. Shanann was mean. That's why he wanted to leave. And then he met me. I'm such a breath of fresh air. Please. He said, "Yes, my kid started to repeat the words, and that's why he wanted the separation." Asked him what he said to his kids when they repeated Shanann's words. Chris Watts said that he would tell his children that it was not nice to say that to anybody. I asked Chris Watts if Shanann was bossy in front of his friends. Chris said that Shanann was all about appearances in all aspects of her life. That in front of her friends, she was occasionally bossy, but she would turn in what? But she would turn it into a kind of joke so that it was more discreet, right? So that it was more subtle. So again, who does this remind you of? The way that it's written, who else writes about Shanann this way? Hint, clue, anybody? Does anybody want to throw it in the chat? Who else writes about Shanann in this manner, in this form? Oh, let's go ahead and give the viewer or the reader an idea of what Shanann, right, the victim in this case, of what Shanann was like. Let's go ahead and put the blame on her. Let's go ahead and make it to where the whole reason that Chris did this in the first place was because Shanann was all about appearances and the way that she treated Chris. Yes, guys, exactly. Cinderlulu. Cinderlulu Watts. Exactly. The mom. A lot of similarities here, right? And of course, that doesn't mean that they knew each other or that Nichol and the family were in cahoots, right? I'm not saying that at all. It just what I'm saying is that it shows the same level of resentment from two different groups of people who didn't even know each other. This is Chris Watts' family and Nichol Kessinger, family and mistress. They never probably, right? We don't know this for sure, but they probably never even met each other. They didn't know each other. And they both have the same level of disdain for the victim in this case. It's so insane. I cannot believe how we're reading this. It's just so crazy. Yeah, just a rain. Yes. Right. Look at the way everything is being written about her, right? She's all about appearances. Oh, she was bossy, but she would turn it into a joke to make it more discreet, more subtle. This is really all she's saying in a way is that they would roast Chris because he's such an idiot. And because it was a roast, it was more like, oh, we're just poking, it's just fun. We're just poking fun at him. It's not malicious. It's not evil. We're not making fun of him because we're trying to be mean. No, we're just poking fun because he's so dumb. Right? That's what she's trying to say here. Oh, that would turn into a joke to make it more discreet. Okay. I asked him how long the communication breakdown between them had been going on. Chris Watts says 6 years. Oh, please. And that the last year or two were the worst. So there was a communication breakdown for their entire relationship? Come on. They were together, what, 8 years? So just the first 2 years was amazing. And then the rest of the communication breakdown, all of it just sucked. I mean, didn't Chris Watts give a presentation on communication and relationship breakdown and repair? He talked about it. Why didn't he apply anything that he supposedly researched onto his own relationship? Why? He didn't do any of that. But here, Nichol Kessinger is saying that supposedly for 6 years he was miserable, but the last 2 years were the worst. Oh, come on, really? They were talking about having a baby together, another baby. Shanann was 15 weeks pregnant. How? Come on, none of this makes sense. Okay, I asked him if he had tried to communicate to her how it made him feel when she said mean comments to him. Oh my god. Again, this whole statement from Nichol is not about her and her relationship between Chris Watts. All of it is just bashing Shanann. All of it. This is just the first page. We haven't even gotten through the rest of it. And all of it is just making Shanann look like the villain. He said he tried to talk to her many times, but it fell on deaf ears. I asked Chris Watts if he had attempted to go to counseling to fix their problems. Chris Watts said no. Chris said that some nights he would still, currently, hang out next to the bed in the master bedroom with her, and he would try to talk to her and spend time with her till she fell asleep. Again, lies, 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 lies. Chris Watts tells me that the other reason he was separated is because Shanann hated that he liked to work out and eat healthy. Oh my goodness. Are we actually going to believe this nonsense? Shanann hated that he liked to work out. Oh, she hated that he was so healthy. Are you kidding me? Shanann sold Thrive for a living. She needed Chris to look fit and healthy for her to be able to sell the patches that she was selling. Could you imagine Chris looking a mess, pudgy, right? Love handles sticking out. And she's over here trying to sell Thrive. Look, it works on my husband. And Chris is here just stuffing his face with cake in every video that Shanann posts on Facebook. That is not going to work. It makes no sense that Shanann would hate that he is working out and that he likes to eat healthy. Come on. There's no way she'd hated that. So ridiculous. Oh, she hated. Oh, come on. Said that before they decided to separate, Shanann would get mad at him if he tried to go out for a run at night once the kids were in bed. Said that Shanann felt it took away from the time they should be spending together. Again, I don't believe this. I don't believe this. Exactly, Tommy's girl. Shanann filmed him working out and she didn't hate it. She would film him working out all the time. He was always doing squats, right? The only time that we saw Chris Watts do any leg workout was when he was squatting with his children on his neck, right? He's squatting with Bella or Cece. He's doing push ups. The guy is constantly working out. And you never hear Shanann say, "Oh, Chris, no, don't work out. I need you to gain more weight. Yeah, I need to sell these Thrive patches, gain more weight." Come on. It doesn't make any sense logically. All right. And then, right, supposedly that he would run and they don't want to spend time together. Chris Watts says that it was frustrating because he would try to hang out with her and he didn't pay attention to him. Come on. And they wouldn't talk on the phone, or they would talk on the phone and scroll through social media instead. I mean, yeah, maybe there's some truth to that. Of course, we know that Shanann worked from Facebook. She worked from her phone. She was constantly on it. So, yeah, there might be some truth to it. But as we know as well, Shanann and Chris spent a lot of time together. They were always all over each other. Witnesses, friends, family, other people, even the Shanann's own text messages, we see that they were loving and touching each other, right? Although we can definitely argue whether or not Chris was into it or if he was just, going with the flow. But we do know that they were, by all accounts, a loving couple. We've heard it from a lot of their friends, including Nick and Amanda Thayer. So again, I don't believe any of this. Okay. Chris Watts says that many times he would try to talk to Shanann. She would not acknowledge him and instead would reply with, "Were you talking to me? Because I wasn't listening to you." Okay. Really? I don't know. Chris Watts told me that Shanann had asked him numerous times to take pictures of them pretending to run together so that she could post it on social media, but she wouldn't actually go for a run with him. What's the point of this? What's the point of this? Useless information. She spent an entire page writing about what she remembers supposedly, 2 months ago, right? From the time that she wrote this statement. A whole page talking about the conversations that she had with Chris, and all of it is Shanann bashing. All of it, the whole thing. Even the last sentence right here. Why does it matter that Shanann would supposedly pretend to post on social media about running? Why does it matter? Other than to just like one up, she's trying to one up herself. Oh, I run a lot. I don't have to pretend because I do it. It's just part of our culture. The workout community, says Nichol Kessinger. Meanwhile, NK Googles corn, yes, and stalks Shanann for hours a day. Yeah, but she was on her phone. Exactly, Boops. Exactly. She's over here bashing a murdered victim, and she's not at all talking about all the hours that she spent on the phone looking up wedding dresses and is my boyfriend gonna leave his wife for me, and can the cops trace text messages? She does not talk about that. Why would she? Temmie. I wonder, when he was doing his runs at times, if he and Psycho were seeing each other. Oh, yes. That's yeah. Yeah, that's a very good thought. Maybe, yeah, when he would go out for his runs, he was actually maybe just talking to Nichol Kessinger or FaceTiming or, I don't know, sending Snapchats to each other. Who knows? All right, next page. Said he started waking up early to lift weights because it was something he did every day and he didn't want his routine to interfere with his time with his kiddos. Right here, kiddos. Notice she's going to use this word a lot throughout the rest of the statement. She'll use it here and there, but I do see it as a way of her distancing herself from the children, right? From Bella and Cece. She just calls them kiddos. Said his health was important to him and he wished that she would have been supportive and not upset. Again, a whole page went by and it was just talking crap about Shanann. Very typical, typical, typical. Number 2, approximately 6:27. In person. Okay. Look at this. We're about to get into the juicy details. Twister time, everybody. Let's look into Twister time. She's talking about this 27th. Let's look at the 27th, shall we? Look at this. Shanann leaves for North Carolina. Nichol Kessinger and Chris Watts' first Twister date. And role-playing text. Yeah, this is the first time that we see Chris Watts send a text message that says, I don't play games unless, of course, we're role-playing. I don't know what kind of role-playing he does except for, I don't know, Mr. Potato Head role-playing. Pull my arm. Pull my leg. I don't know. Is that the type of role-playing? His eyes pop out, just like Mr. Potato Head. I don't know what role playing he's talking about. It does sound pretty boring, in my opinion. Right elbow on blue. So sexy, Chris. Oh, I love blue. My favorite color is green, though. Put your knee on green. Oh, so exciting. I don't know. What is their role playing like? But okay, yeah, now we're seeing the 27th. The 27th. All right. And now she's talking. She skipped right over everything, right? She skipped right over meeting Chris and she goes straight to, oh yeah, he told me that he hates his wife. And then boom, in person. Chris Watts brings condoms to my house. Wow. That escalated very quickly. It's like we're watching a Fast and Furious movie. It starts very subtle, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Meow, meow, meow, explosion. Ah, body parts. Oh my God. No, there's more explosions. Ah. It's just so crazy. Look at this. She went from just a bunch of nonsense to he brought condoms to my house. Awesome. One box is full and unopened. She remembers that very vividly. The second is a set of condoms from a partially used box. Chris brought 2 whole boxes of condoms to her house for the very first time. The first time ever. I asked Chris Watts why he has a set of partially used condoms. What's the point of this? I do understand she's trying to get to maybe, I don't know, she's saying, "Oh, why would you bring a box of open condoms if you and your wife are separated?" Right? I think this is what she's trying to do here. This is what she's trying to portray. "Oh, that's why I asked. I didn't know." Chris Watts informs me, right? Very, very professional here, right? Very formal. He informed me that the condoms he has are from back when he was still doing Twister with his wife. Okay, except they have children together. And Shanann also agreed to, a second baby. So everything that Nichol Kessinger is saying here makes sense. Yes. It's very possible, yes, that he was using them with Shanann because they're like, yeah, we don't want to have a baby right now. But then he stopped when they wanted to have a baby. Told me they had been sitting in the closet collecting dust, really, and that Shanann probably did not even know that they were still there. Collecting dust. Wow. I haven't seen any Twister action in months, Nicky. Yeah, they're just been sitting there collecting dust. Look at all the spider webs. Oh, is that a Black Widow? Oh no, it's just a daddy long legs. It's okay. Just move it out of the way. Check the expiration date. Make sure that they still work. Oh, they were manufactured yesterday? Yeah, I don't know. They've been collecting dust though somewhere. So ridiculous. Asked him and asked him what asked why him and Shanann used condoms. What kind of stupid question is this, Nicole? Why are you and your wife using condoms? Do you not know what contraceptives are for? Is she eh, she's confused? Is she not a geologist? She doesn't know what contraceptives are for? Why are you using condoms with your wife? She's your wife. Yeah. Yeah, it's called I don't want to have babies right now. Chris Watts informed me that Shanann didn't like to get messy. If this is a real conversation that they were having, this is gross. She wants all of the details. Wow. She wants to know everything about Chris Watson and Shanann's, sexy time life. That is crazy. Yeah, because she didn't want to get messy. Oh my God, seriously, he can't figure out how to not make it messy. Yeah, I think she's broken up relationships before, Chris. Yeah, this is so crazy. The FOIA request and got that stuff. That's why he got the discovery pages. I know that's how he got the discovery pages for the FOIA request. Definitely rocks all the ins and outs. Yes. Another dig at Shanann, and it's sick. Yeah, not in 1,000 night you talk like that the first time. No way. Exactly. Right? Just reading through the chat. No one speaks to anybody this way if you just met them. If they're your coworker and you're interested in them, you're already asking them why they're not using the box of condoms or when's the last time you used them, asking all kinds of personal questions. It's so controlling, right? This sounds like a very controlling and manipulative person. I was curious. Look at this. Nicole says, I was curious, so I looked up the expiration date on the condoms and noted that the unopened set expired in late 2022 and the opened set expired in late 2023. What's the point of this, Nichol Kessinger? I looked up the lifespan of an unopened condom and discovered it is approximately 5 years. Based on my research, she says, I assume these condoms were manufactured in late 2017 and early 2018. Nichol Kessinger spent how many bullet points? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 bullet points and a section of a page, right? Almost half of it, explaining condom manufacturing. We can't make this up. Nichol Kessinger talks about Chris's macro intake, his BMI, his water intake. his macros, his how many chickens a day he eats, how many carrots a day he eats. Now she's talking about condom manufacturing. And oh, I did a research on it. And according to my research, it does seem as though these were manufactured in I don't know, somewhere in middle of China back in 2017 and 2018. The quality control process occurred in March of 2017 and it passed. What's the point? What's the point? She put a lot of effort into letting the investigators know about condoms. Wh- What? What do we think about this? I want to hear your thoughts on this. What do we think? What's the point of this? I'm really trying to think here if there's any point to her bringing this up other than I don't what's the point? Yeah, but she wasn't jealous at all, right? Yeah. I'm sure Kobach read that and was like, yeah, okay, this chick is crazy. Yeah, so Shana cannot be pregnant, or what is the point of this, Nikki? Exactly. What's the point? She's the absolute queen of providing useless information. Veriscope said, "She is like this. She didn't before. She is dangerous." Yeah, because that was important to her. Exactly. Yeah. Roxy, there's no point. Okay. Yeah, it might be there really is no point. Why is she telling them that? Exactly, Britt. Nicole is a freak. Yes. I've been listening while I was cleaning out my cabinets. NK is far out there. I wonder why Chris Watts didn't just walk away. That's some shit I would keep to myself. Exactly, B. What's the point? There is no point in all of these little bullet points other than, again, she doesn't want to talk about real information that she has. And so she does in writing what she does in real life. She takes you down a ramble, right? All of these other things that don't make sense, right? Distraction, distraction. Don't look at me waving my hand, right? Like, look at this. Don't look at what I'm actually doing. That type of thing. She wrote 7 pages. And so we are expecting to see 7 pages of bombshell evidence, right? Bombshell information. This is the mistress of Chris Watts, the closest person to him. And she spent 7 pages writing bullshit because she knew that she had to turn something in. And because she didn't do the assignment, right? Just that, like, as if this was a university or school, she didn't read the assignment. She didn't do it. So she's just going to fluff the hell out of it. Hey, ChatGPT, just add a bunch of fluff, but make my paper be 10 pages. Yeah, that's how much I need for the assignment to get at least a C minus. This, again, I think that other than that, this is the only reason is let me just come up with a bunch of other crap that I remember that has nothing to do with the case. It's just a waste of time and a waste of paper. All right. Number 3. On or shortly after July 4th, 2018. All right, so we're just going to skip a few days apparently. Let's go ahead and look at the calendar. So she talked about the 25th, the 26th, and the 27th. All right. No mention about these days. Look at this addicted text. I'm so addicted to you. Oh my God. Sleeping next to your warm body is not going to be fun tonight, says Chris Watts. All of this has been completely ignored by Nichol Kessinger. Now she's going to, let's just fast forward. Let's go to July 4th. Let's look at our calendar, okay? And let's look at all the things that actually happened and let's compare with what Nichol Kessinger said. So Shanann leaves to North Carolina and Chris Watts, they spent the night together. It looks like that's when it happened. Fireworks. What is this part? Oh, right. Yes. They went to the fireworks. So Chris Watts went to fireworks with some of the friends. This is when his weight loss journey begins, right? This is when Nicole says, yeah, I went over and I helped him with the app. Drenched in rain text. And look at this. NK meltdown. This is by far the most important event that happened on this day was her meltdown. It was when Shanann called Chris that morning. Chris didn't answer the phone because he had spent the night at Nichol Kessinger's house. And so when he calls Shanann back, Shanann is upset. She's mad at him. She's wondering, why are you not answering the phone? The girls want to talk to you. And when Nichol Kessinger finds out that Chris is talking to his wife, she has a full-blown meltdown. Chris decides that he's going to go home instead, and Nichol Kessinger has a meltdown. That's something that Chris talked about to the investigators when he was doing the prison interview. And let's go ahead and see what Nichol Kessinger remembers about this day, right? Let's go ahead and see her version of events. In person on July 4th, I complimented his home as being very beautiful. Okay, that's how the day started? The alarm went off on July 4th. Ring, ring, ring. It's morning time. Chris, your house is beautiful. Apparently, that's how it started. She complimented him on his house being very beautiful. Why is she complimenting him on his home? Why is she not talking about how she got to his home in the first place? Chris Watts said that he had always wanted a smaller ranch-style home. Here we go. She's remembering the things that Chris told her, right? Oh, what a beautiful home. And Chris told her, it's too big. I wanted something smaller. And supposedly that prompted, right, Chris Watts to say that Shanann insisted on the big house because she liked to throw parties and make it look like they had everything. Again, here we go. Let's go back to blaming the victim that can't defend herself. Let's go ahead and talk about how Shanann wanted to live this lifestyle that was not doable. It's not feasible. Keeping up with the Joneses type of lifestyle, right? That's what she's saying here. I asked him what type of parties he was referring to. Oh, Chris, what type of parties does your wife like to throw in this big house of yours? Chris Watts tells me that they had the house built. Oh, sorry. Chris Watts shook his head left and right and said, just expensive parties. Really? That's the one thing that Nichol Kessinger seems to remember from this day. Chris Watts shaking his head. Oh, Nikki. Really expensive parties. They're so expensive. That's what she remembers. Okay. Chris Watts tells me that they had the house built, and the only part of the design that he had any say in was the stonework and the paint color on the exterior of the house. Shanann, my favorite color is beige. Can we just paint it beige, please? I like that color. It's so vibrant. This is beige, guys. I'm wearing beige today. So vibrant. This is what Chris says, that was his only say in the house. I just got to pick the stones and the color of the house. Oh. And now Nichol is feeling sorry for him, right? This is what she's trying to say. I'm feeling sorry for him. Oh my God. He has no say in his own home. Chris Watts said his mortgage was $2,800 a month and he was tired of being house broke. Look at all of the detail that Nichol Kessinger remembers about July 4th. She remembers the exact amount of their mortgage. Their mortgage. And not just that. Chris Watts said that about $500 of the $2,800 was homeowners insurance. How much do they pay in property tax, Nichol? Who do they have homeowners insurance with? Is it farmers? We are farmers. Dun, 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 dun. Is it, I don't know, what Geico, like, she seems to know so much information about their house payments, the amount of money that goes into their mortgage and how much money goes into homeowners insurance. That is a controlling person. This is such a scary person. If you guys ever meet someone who is wanting all of your information right off the bat like this, run. Run for the hills, run the other direction. All of this sounds like blackmailing right from the start. And not just blackmailing, but complete control. This is someone who loves to manipulate and control. Very, very typical narcissistic behavior. Run. Yeah, she was so intrusive and knew way too much. Exactly, Macker. Yes. Way too intrusive. All right. So, yeah, apparently that's all she remembered, right? Look, she didn't mention any of this stuff. She did not mention the weight loss journey. She didn't mention going to his house. Where did she go in through? Was it the garage? Was it the window? Was it the front door? Was it through the chimney? She didn't mention any of that. She didn't mention that she was there to help him with the app. And she did not mention the meltdown. She did not mention how pissed she was when Chris was talking to Shanann that morning. She left that out completely. And then let's go ahead and fast forward, right? Because that's what she's doing. She's fast forwarding 10 days into the future. So now she's talking about July 14th. And let's go ahead and see what she skipped over. I love doing this. Look at her calendar here. Look at everything that she skipped through. Right. Look, Shanann's call to, she called Chris Watts to call Vivint, which I'm sure Nichol Kessinger knew about. Chris Watts and NK first call, right? That's what's showing up on her phone records. The Nutgate incident happened, which Nichol seemed to know so much about. The "you're so considerate" text, right? Because it seems that Nichol Kessinger went over to his house. Shanann began to suspect something was wrong the first trimester of Shanann. Chris Watts logged into his Facebook, right? And then on the 14th, the same day that Shanann posted a photo of baby Nico's outfit, it's also the time that Nichol Kessinger pings in Frederick. Okay. Chris Watts searches a bistro, so it looks like they were hanging out this day on the 14th. Let's go ahead and see what she says. In person, she says, on the 14th. Went to his house. Oh, you guys can't see that. Here we go. Went to his house to drop him off after we visited the Shelby Mustang Museum in Boulder. All right. That tracks, right? It does track because we see it in her own phone records. We see in her own phone records on the 14th, right? We just go ahead and look at what they were talking about on the 14th or, their conversations. We see here they're talking and, then the communication stops at around 4 p.m. Yes, and we do know that that's the same day that they went to the car museum. And so that is why Nichol Kessinger pinged in Frederick, right? She was there. She was picking him up. And again, the only times that you see Nichol Kessinger ping in Frederick is when she was physically there. While at his house, I felt uncomfortable. Okay, now she's talking about her feelings, right? Very first time that we see anything about her feelings. I felt uncomfortable, as if I did not belong there. Yeah, that's because you didn't, Nichol. He had built a beautiful life, and it made me think that there was still a chance for him to fix things with his wife. Look at how she brought up the beautiful life again, right? She brought it up over here too. Build a beautiful life. Build a beautiful life, she says to Chris Watts in the email that she did not mention in her statement. Build a beautiful life. You get where I'm going with this, right? They both use the same words that they are using when they're talking to the police. It all seems very rehearsed. I told him that I did not think it was fair for Shanann or me, Right now, she's saying the same thing that she said in person. Or me, that he was trying to live two lives by being in a relationship with both of us at the same time. Said that I think he either needed to fix things with her and let me go, or he needed to move towards trying to finalize his divorce. Okay. Notice the way that she worded this. The way that it's worded makes it seem like she's already pressuring him one way or another. And look at how early in the relationship this is. July 14th. July 14th, and we already see Nichol Kessinger asking him to either fix things or move towards finalizing your divorce. On the 14th. On the 14th. Look at this. Isn't that fast? Yes, sounds like an ultimatum to me. Exactly, with love. Yes. And look at how quick into the relationship it happened. How many weeks had passed and she's already telling him, you either fix your marriage, which you're telling me you don't want to because your wife is so bossy, or or you get a divorce. Finalize your divorce, Chris. I can't be waiting that long. I'm a breath of fresh air. I'm a gem. I'm priceless, just like the Dead Sea Scrolls. That is what she's doing here, right? It sounds like she is pressuring him while at the Shelby Mustang Museum. Oh, Chris, look at all the cars. Isn't it pretty? Does your wife take you out to these places? I bet she doesn't. I'm the only one that cares about you. I'm the only one that takes you to these museums. Look at those Vin Diesel heads. 80% off. That means that they're only $800. Oh my God, I need 7 of them, Chris. So ridiculous. That is what she's doing at the Shelby Museum. She's trying to convince him that his life with his wife is so miserable, and look at what you can have with me. Figure it out. Finalize your divorce, Chris. Again, that's just my opinion, but you guys let me know. You guys let me know. This is just the way I'm reading this. It sounds like an ultimatum. Yeah, when you write it out, you read it in a different way than when she probably said it to him in a very different tone. Yes, exactly, Cosmo Bear. Exactly. The way she's saying here, right? She's saying, oh, try to finalize your divorce, Chris. When in reality, she was probably like, oh, Chris, if you hate your wife and you hate everything about your life, I don't know why you're still with her. She's obviously so bossy. I'm not bossy at all. I'm not materialistic. Look, I only have one car. I live in an apartment. I don't even eat. I don't spend any money on food. That's how much money I like to save. I don't know why you're still with her. Be with me, Chris. I love you, Christopher. All of it, right? In a very different way, right? She's pushing him to choose me. I'm better. Again, the way that it's done, the way that it's written, it tells you so much detail about how she told Chris. Dragon Onion 666, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you so much for the super chat. Let's celebrate. Dragon Onion says, "Hey Rox, can't chat much at work, but it just still blows my mind how quickly this affair turned into a family annihilation. NK is very dangerous to someone as ignorant and easily strayed as Chris Watts. Yes, yes. NK was dangerous to someone who is as easily strayed as Chris Watts. I love the way that you put that because yeah, that is what we have been talking about this entire channel is how easily manipulated Chris Watts can be, partly because of his own upbringing and the environment that he was in. And all he needed was someone as dangerous and manipulative and controlling as Nichol Kessinger to completely convince him of annihilating a family. It's so crazy. Yeah, thank you so much for that. But yeah, I mean, again, we're seeing the way that Nichol Kessinger is writing this. All right, so after the ultimatum, Nichol Kessinger says, I told him that I thought his problems with Shanann were fixable and that he should focus on trying to rekindle that relationship that they had before giving up. Again, she's telling Chris this during the date that she took him on. She took him on this date, and she's supposedly telling him to rekindle his relationship with his wife while she's spending time with him on a date. That's not how it works, Nichol. You can't pressure your boyfriend to rekindle his marriage at the same time sending him nudes and taking him out on dates and showing him what a wonderful life you can have with me. That's not how it works. He said that Shanann was set on separating and that so was he. He said that Shanann, when Shanann wants something, she gets her way. I mean, I do believe that. Yes. Shanann was a go-getter. If she wanted something, she went and got it. I told him I did not understand why they hadn't completed the divorce after all these months, if they were both so adamant about it. If she wanted it as bad as he stated, I did not understand why it seemed stagnant. Duh. Right? If you're both agreeing to a divorce, you would just do it. At this moment, I realized that he might be lying to me. Nichol Kessinger says that she realized that he might be lying to her July 14th. I realized he might be lying to me about his separation, so I started quizzing him on things that he had told me earlier. I asked him, when was the last time he was intimate with his wife? Look at this. Here we go again. When was the last time you used your extra, extra small magnums? Yeah, the ones that you had to get custom made for you, Chris. Yeah, I know they don't sell those anywhere unless you have to tie the end so that it can fit. When was the last time that you bought these custom made, Chris? She is so worried about Chris's condoms yet again. When was the last time he was intimate with his wife? Chris Watts told me that the day that the last time that he and Shanann were intimate was in May, but had told me on an earlier date that the two had not been intimate since March or early April. Well, of course they were intimate in May, right? I mean, when was baby Nico due? Just do the math. When was the last time that they were intimate? When was the last, like around the time that Shanann was ovulating and she got pregnant, right? The math varies, but we can narrow it down to the last time that they were intimate. And I think this is what Nichol Kessinger is doing. She wants to know, when was the last time that you guys did it? Because she's jealous already. Again, this is her showing jealousy. She wants to know, when was the last time you touched your wife, Christopher? Shelly, microscopic. Yes. Yeah, I'm sure he ordered glow-in-the-dark condoms because it's the only way that you can see it. Turn off the lights, Chris. I don't see it. Ah, there it is. I thought I needed to grab my magnifying glass. She is a geologist, so I'm sure she has magnifying glasses, right? She's looking at the different minerals in a rock. Oh, what is this? Is this an amphibole? Oh, no. Oh, this is definitely a granite, right? It's the only way that she can see Chris's, his parts, his tools. Oh, man. His screwdriver. Jeez. All right. What else? What else did Nichol Kessinger say here? I told him I did not understand why they hadn't completed the divorce, right? There we go. The intimate. Chris Watts told me that the day that they were last intimate was March or April. I asked Chris Watts if he used protection when he slept with her because he stated on an earlier date that he used condoms when they were intimate. He told me that he had not used protection. Yeah. Was Nichol Kessinger quizzing him? Why is your wife pregnant, Chris? She can get pregnant just on her own. When was the last time you were intimate with your wife, Chris? This is what she's doing. Here, let's go ahead and look at what's going on the 14th, shall we? Baby Nico outfit. Baby Nico outfit. Now, if we are to believe that Nichol Kessinger was stalking Shanann's Facebook, as we do believe, then we can also believe that she was stalking Shanann's Facebook all throughout her and Chris Watts's relationship. All throughout their affair, Nichol Kessinger was still stalking Shanann, right? Obviously. So look at this. On July 14th, Shanann posted this baby Watts first outfit. And it's also the same day that Nichol Kessinger is asking, when was the last time you were intimate with her, Chris? When was the last time you used your extra, extra small microscopic magnums, Chris? I know it couldn't have been that long ago because they're custom made and it takes a while for you to get them. When was the last time, Chris? Why? Because she's seeing that Shanann is publishing photos of baby Watts. What does this tell us? She is stalking Shanann throughout this entire ordeal, the entire affair. She is stalking Shanann. Chris ruined Metallica for me. Oh, yes. Chris has ruined so many things for us. Mm-hmm. When I scoop my cat's litter box soaked in urine, it reminds me of NK. Oh my God. Oh man, that's funny. Dead batteries remind me of Nichol Kessinger for some reason. Every time my batteries die, I'm like, oh, should I send these over to Nichol Kessinger so that she can pawn them? Maybe she can make a few extra bucks. Who knows? Her net worth can go up if she starts pawning all of my dead batteries. All right. Okay, what else is going on here? All right. So she's asking these questions. And where is it here? Okay. So he told me that he had not used protection. I asked him if he was lying about his separation. Chris Watts said no. I asked him if he was actively trying to have a child with Shanann since they had unprotected intimacy. He said no. N-O, capital N-O, big N-O. I left his house. Okay, so it looks like maybe they weren't at the Shelby when this happened, right? All of this happened after she dropped him off. Maybe a combination of the two, right? She started with at the Shelby Museum. She started asking him questions, and then it got full blown once they got home. And then look at how she ends this part of her statement. I left his house. She doesn't mention a blow up. She doesn't mention any argument. We do know that neighbor Nate, mentioned hearing yelling next door. He mentioned an argument between Chris Watts and who neighbor Nate believed to be Shanann. Now, as we know, Chris could not have been having these heated discussions, right? These heated conversations with Shanann because Shanann was not in Colorado at that time. She was in North Carolina. So is it possible that and of course, everything that Nate said, he then took back because he said that he doesn't really remember. But if it is true and he does remember some screaming, is it possible that it happened on the 14th? Because look at everything that's happening, right? Baby Nico's photo. Nichol Kessinger's asking, when was the last time you're intimate? Chris is lying to her, maybe, right? She's like, Chris, just tell me already. You and Shanann are having a baby. And there's a screaming match, right? Stuff is going on. Again, this is Nichol Kessinger we're talking about. Someone who Chris later mentioned that she was bipolar. He had to talk her off a ledge. The baby. Chris, are you going to have a baby? Right? All of this is happening. And then she ends it with, I left his house. Are we going to believe that she just asked these questions and then left? Okay, Chris, I don't want to hear this anymore. I'm leaving. Or did she actually blow up, make a scene, and then she left his house? Angry, mad, upset that Chris won't tell her the truth, upset that Chris won't make her his priority. I left his house, she says. Wow. Let's continue. Approximately July 15th through July 19th, continued from above conversation. Text and person, she says. All right, so it's continued from the above conversation. Let's just go ahead and see what she says, and then let's compare it with our calendar. He tells me that he still wants a separation, but this time he states that it is because he has never met anyone like me. Oh, he states it's because he has never met anyone like me. Wow. This is the second time that Nicole Kessinger mentions this in everything that we've seen, probably more. She talks about how she is such a breath of fresh air. I'm just so different. I'm just so chill. I'm so laid back. He wanted to separate, but that's because he has never met anyone like me before. She just has to go ahead and throw that in there, right? She's like, oh, I don't mean to toot my own horn, Kevin, but you have noticed that I do work out, right? I do work out. You have noticed that I'm not materialistic at all, right? Yeah, I'm sure you've noticed. Again, look at what she's doing. Oh, it's because he's never met anyone like me. He's so obsessed with me. Told him that he better not be doing that for me and that he needs to be leaving his current situation because it is what he and her both felt is best for their kids and for themselves. Again, Nicole is saying, oh, please don't leave your family because of me. I know I'm wonderful. I know I'm perfect. I'm a gem. Yes, I'm like one of those rare diamonds. But please don't leave your family because of me. I know I'm a catch. I know that. But please try to work it out with your family first. So absolutely ridiculous. Saying she's never met anyone like me. Okay. We spoke over the next several days and spent a little time together, but I did not want to be intimate with him. Oh, now she's saying, I don't want to be intimate with you anymore on the 15th. This is after, it looks like, after the blow up. It does seem like there was a blow up at his house on the 14th. Let's go ahead and look at our calendar real quick. So on the 14th, there seems to have been a huge blow up, which meant that on the 15th, Chris Nicole was no longer feeling it. She did say that she's like, yeah, I wasn't really wanting to be intimate with him anymore. That's because she was jealous. Again, she mentioned being at his house. So if she was at his house and they were having this conversation while at the same time Shanann is posting photos of baby Nico, she's not only in the environment where Shanann and Chris built that family that she wants so desperately, she's also being lied to apparently by Chris. So a lot of things are happening. It would make anybody crazy. It would make anybody uncomfortable and angry, and especially someone like Nicole Kessinger. Again, she was at his house looking at all the things that they have. Oh my God, this is such a beautiful house. But at the same time, you're lying to me about you having a baby. It's just a lot, right? A lot of things. And so it looks like because of that, she did not want to be intimate with him because she kind of just lost her shit, is really what it sounds like. It sounds like she just lost her mind. All right, excuse me with these allergies, real quick. All right. Yeah. Did she really say she gets along better with men? Yeah, she did. She did. She said that in one of her interviews with Kevin Kovac that just overall she just gets along better with men. Again, because she doesn't seem like a girl's girl. She's not the kind of girl that empowers other women. This is because, in my opinion, she sees other women as competition. Competition in the workforce, competition in for mates, right? She's definitely the very competitive kind. And so she just sees other women as competition, in my opinion. All right. What else? Okay, what else? What else? Where were we? Oh, yeah, they never met anybody. I did not wanna be intimate with him, she says. I kept telling him that I thought he really needed to fix things with her and not to worry about building a relationship with me anymore. Again, right? It sounds like she's butthurt. She's like, "Yeah, you know what? You and Shanann are having a baby together. I don't know why you're wasting my time, Chris. If you're not gonna leave her, stop wasting my time, okay? I'm gonna go date. I'm gonna go find someone, all right? And I'm gonna go find someone who is actually going to like me and spend time with me, someone who values me, someone who prioritizes me, okay? I'm not doing this with you anymore." That is what I believe this conversation went like. Told him that I had been asked out. Oh my goodness. Told him that I had been asked out on 2 dates since I had known him and that I didn't go on either one and that I was stood up. Again. What is Nichol Kessinger trying to do here? Again, it sounds like she's trying to give him an ultimatum. That's what she's doing. She's giving him ultimatums. Look, Chris, I'm a catch. You're going to lose me. Other men are asking me out. I'm going out on dates. You better figure it out. You better make a decision, Chris. You snooze, you lose. Hurry, hurry. I'm not going to wait around, Chris. I'm a catch. Wow. If there's any more convincing that we need, I don't know what else we can possibly say about this. Yeah, exactly. She's trying to see if he will get jealous. Yeah, that's what she's doing. She's bringing up how, oh, I've been asked out on dates. She's trying to get him jealous, trying to get him to make decisions quick, right? It's just like when you go and order something online or, you're buying concert tickets. At the very top, it gives you a timer and they keep telling you, order now or your tickets are going to be given to somebody else. So you're looking at the time and you're like, "Oh my god, where's my wallet? Hurry, hurry, put all the information in." And then at the end you end up getting screwed over and you just spent $200 more, right? Because there's a timer at the top. That's exactly what is happening here. Nichol Kessinger is giving him an ultimatum, and he's like, "Oh God, I need to do this before what time? Oh, before the kids go back to school. That's very short notice. What that gives me less than a month. Okay, right? It's like so much pressure. She's already putting pressure on the guy, right? Again, a dimwit, a moron, someone who is so easily manipulated." And he's already thinking like, "Oh, damn. I only have 3 weeks to come up with a decision." Told him that he took the respect and trust from our relationship because I felt like he was lying. Mhm. Yeah. Again, what does it sound like? It sounds like she was upset over the baby photo, right? She was upset over the baby photo. This is what she saw, and she's like, "What the hell, Chris? What is going on?" What do we think? This is a good question for the chat. I'm going to ask you all. Do we believe do we believe that Chris Watts was lying to her, right? Do we want to believe that Chris Watts was genuinely lying to her about the baby? Or does Nicole know that they were having a baby? And Chris had told her they were having a baby and they already knew about this. Like it was just part of the plan. What do we think? Here, I'm gonna go ahead and add it into the chat. I just want to see what you guys think, because I'm leaning more towards Chris did genuinely lie to her. I think that he didn't know, again, because Chris is so stupid. I don't think that Chris realized that Nichol Kessinger was already stalking him. I don't think he realized that she was stalking Shanann. There's so many things that I don't think Chris realized about Nichol Kessinger. So I do believe that he was probably lying to her, telling her, "Oh yeah, no, like that's not my baby." Right? But Nichol Kessinger is taking these lies and presenting them as truth and then making up the narrative around, "Oh, he told me he was separating," right? So she's using real truth to, again, further her own narrative and her own story, if that makes any sense. Yeah, let's go ahead and ask. So, do we think that Chris genuinely lied to NK about the baby? And then the last one is I don't know, IDK. All right. So do we think that Chris Watts genuinely lied to Nichol Kessinger about the baby? That's going to be the question. I just want to know what you guys think. Yes, Shelly. Exactly. Essences of the truth. Yeah, at work, doesn't everyone know you're expecting a baby? Exactly. Everyone knows about this. Again, she's all over Facebook. Everybody knows. She knew from stalking, but he also lied. Yeah. Yeah, that's why she was questioning the condoms. Mhm. Yeah, he knew via Facebook. Huge red flag usually means other women see her as sneaky and don't like to hang around her. I think not, but he kept it quiet. Mhm. Big blow up. She's trying to save face and get him to have the right story that fits with her fantasy beautiful life. Yeah. Nice. All right, what are most of you? All right, so right now is majority think yes, that he genuinely lied about the baby. 37% say no. I think she probably saw it online, asked him about it, and he fessed up because he's a shitty liar. Oh, yeah. Yeah, very good point. Yeah, I think eventually he's like, "Oh, crap. I just can't lie anymore. I suck at lying." Right? He always makes that stupid face. So Nicole probably asked him the question, and he's like, "I'm not having a baby. You believe me, right? I'm not having babies." And of course, Nicole's like, "Bro, you're so terrible at lying. You are having a baby, aren't you?" But of course, she already knew this. All right. So he or she was saying, "Yeah, I think he was lying to me." Let's go ahead and fast forward. Look, she skipped a few days again. Now she's talking about July 20th, continued from the above conversation. All right. So she's from the 15th through the 19th. She said that these things happened, right? The things that we just read. So from the 15th through the 19th. So the questions that she's saying that she asked Chris happened right here, right? He tells me he wants a separation, blah, blah, blah. I think he's lying to me. Again, look at this. Chris Watts paint for Nichol Kessinger. Chris Watts boots photo. Get some rest. Can I, Shanann posts a photo of Bella on Facebook where she's asking, "Can I rub my baby?" It's also the same time that Nichol Kessinger pings in Frederick, right? She did not mention that. No mention of her being in Frederick again while she is looking at Shanann's Facebook and all the baby photos that she's posting or, posts about the upcoming baby. And then Chris Watts logged Facebook. All of this was skipped, and we are going to hear, right? Chris Watts logged in Snapchat July 20th. Let's go ahead and see what she says. July 20th. In person. In person. We attempt to have Twister time, right? They attempt to play Twister 4 times that evening, and he seems mentally interested, but physically he cannot perform. All right, let's go. What's going on the 20th? All right, he logged into Snapchat. All right. Logged into Snapchat. Is that why he was, I don't know, motivated mentally, but physically he couldn't perform? What had he like already, I don't know, cooked the chicken or whatever? He had already played Twister by himself. He's like, "Yeah, I think I just want to do a single player Twister. Yeah. Let me log into my Snapchat." Is that what happened? That's why he can't perform? Or he can't perform because he's already feeling the heat, he's feeling the pressure. What's going on here? And again, what's the point of Nichol Kessinger telling the investigators this and typing it out? I asked him what the problem was several times, and he kept telling me that nothing was wrong. Oh, Chris, why are you unable to put your left foot on green today? Oh, I'm okay, Nikki. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Oh, well, we can attempt it later. It's okay. You want to take a break? Yeah, we can start. I mean, I can go first next time. I can spin if that works. Who knows, right? Who knows what they're saying? I told him that he was quiet that day and that it seemed like he had something on his mind. I asked him if what was bothering him had anything to do with the convo that occurred the previous weekend. Yeah, probably. Yeah, the conversation of, "Do you have children, Chris? Are you gonna have a baby?" And then her apparently withholding sexy time from him, right? Withholding twister play. So it seems that it was already affecting Chris in one way or another. He's already like, "Oh, man, I have to choose between this crazy woman, and my wife and children." And of course, he's gonna choose the crazy woman. Chris Watts said, yes. He told me that initially he was mad that I had been asked out on dates. Wow. But then felt that he couldn't be mad because that would make him a hypocrite. Said that was really bothering him. Said that what was really bothering him was that I kept asking him to try and fix things with Shanann. I can't believe she would admit to this. Wow. I mean, look at what Nichol Kessinger is doing. She's admitting yeah, that's why Chris couldn't perform. That's why he was acting weird. That's why he was a little off. It's because of the things that Nichol Kessinger was manipulating him with. She was telling him things about dates, making him jealous, right? Making him question his relationship with her, putting the pressure on him to decide, and then asking him to fix things with Shanann. This is all pressure we're seeing here. Is this not? Chris Watts told me that he would attempt to fix things with her when he was in North Carolina, and that he didn't want to talk about it anymore while he was at home. The twister play from then on for the rest of the relationship was greatly reduced. Look at this. It was greatly reduced from 3 to 4 times daily. Wow. Wow. I hope they had a lot of sanitizer to clean that pad because my goodness, that's a lot of bacteria buildup. To 1 or maybe 2 times, and was not an intimate, it was not as intimate when it occurred. Twister play no longer happened every day we hung out, but it was still very frequent. Hmm. So they still played Twister every once in a while. "Hey, Chris, you wanna stretch out?" "Yeah." "You wanna get a good little game in?" "Yeah, I feel like stretching my bones." "Yeah." "My elbows are a little tight from doing biceps and back on Tuesday, you know, back and buys. Yeah, I gotta stretch out a little bit." "Yeah, you wanna try it? All right. You let me know. You let me know. I'm just gonna get warmed up in here." Apparently, that's what they were doing. They're like, let's try it. Let's attempt it." But it was significantly reduced because, again, it sounds like it was just Nichol Kessinger not feeling it anymore. Neither of them. It looks like the relationship went from their honeymoon phase. "Oh, no, we're getting to know each other. Everything is great. He likes to go down south. I love it." To, "Okay, Chris, you got to make a decision. All right. We've been playing Twister for 2 days now. So the relationship is serious. Mm-hmm. What are you going to decide?" And that's when it stopped being fun. Obviously. I mean, how can you be fun? How can it be fun when you are being pressured to leave your family, when you're being asked, "Oh, when was the last time you were intimate?" Right? It's no longer fun. Boops. We need to dig into the boots picture. Yeah, you know how Troy brought it up in different boots he wore on the 13th. So maybe the picture proves that they were discussing details of cleanup. Yes, Boops. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you brought that up because I thought about it. I'm like, oh, the Boots conversation, but we do need to look for the Boots photo, which it's in my files. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll definitely bring that up when we continue listening to Troy McCoy and the fact that Chris was so excited about his new boots, but he didn't wear his new boots on the day that he disposed of his family. He wore the old ones. All right. So, yeah, look into the boots. Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate you guys. Oh, my chat. Okay, there we go. I'm like, oh, my chat was weird right now. All right. Okay, so yeah, so here she's telling us the Twister time was not as frequent anymore. Yeah, it stopped being fun. It became it became something of stress for Chris. He had to decide very, very soon, right? Again, this is July 20th, right? Or yeah, this is around July 20th. He's gonna have to decide in a few weeks whether he divorces his family or annihilates them. Both very stressful for Chris, for someone as weak and wimpy and cowardly as Chris Watts. Let's go ahead and look at number 5. Conversation while Chris Watts was in North Carolina. Wow, look at this. Only 2 bullet points. That's it. 2 bullet points. As we know, a lot of things happened while she was in while Chris was in North Carolina. One of them, as we know, she Googled wedding dresses, but I bet she's not going to mention this here. Let's just go ahead and look. Conversation with Chris Watts while in North Carolina. Phone. Chris Watts tells me that he had a conversation with his buddy Mark, who lives in San Diego. Says Mark informed him that many years ago he believes that Shanann was responsible for a large amount of money that was embezzled from a company that Shanann was and Mark both worked at the time, but that the company never was able to prove who did it. Wow. So the conversations that she remembered, that's it. That's all she remembered. All right, let's go ahead and pull up her phone calls, shall we? Let's go ahead and pull up the logs. Let's go ahead and pull it up. I love it. I love it. All right. So here, all right, let's just look at the times that Chris Watts was in North Carolina. Chris Watts flew out to North Carolina the end of July, July 30th, and he was there up until August the 6th. It looks like they returned to Colorado on the 7th, right? So that is 2 weeks almost, right? 2 whole weeks of communication that he had with Nichol Kessinger. And okay, let's go ahead and look at the dates. So what was it? It was July 30th through. Okay, so right here. All right. So we're seeing the pattern here, right? Chris is in North Carolina, so we see less blue, but we do see more yellow. We do see more communication between her and Jim. Very interesting. She's like, I still need to talk to a guy. What guy wants to talk to me? So then here she is. She's talking to Jim. July 31st, incoming call. July 31st, incoming call. Look, 38 minutes at 10 p.m. And then again, let's just notice how frequent these calls are and when they're happening. They're usually happening at night, right? And it looks like when Shanann doesn't have any, access to Chris, it looks like maybe she's asleep, and that's when Chris decides to call Nichol Kessinger. So 38 minutes here, August 1st, look, 9:11 p.m. Look, they spoke for over an hour. On August 2nd, 9 p.m. again. Look, they spoke for over an hour again, 82 minutes. August 3rd, 9 p.m. They spoke for 14 minutes. August 4th, almost 9 p.m. again, right? 8:49. They spoke for 42 minutes. August 5th, 10:33 p.m. They spoke for 89 minutes. August 6th, 10:01 and 10:29, right? Of an incoming call, looks like she missed it. And then another incoming call. They spoke for 50 minutes. Here we go again, right? So, a lot of conversations between Nichol Kessinger and Chris Watts while he was in North Carolina, yet The only thing that we see from Nichol Kessinger during their communication, which was a lot, right? A lot of hours throughout the week, is two little bullet points, right? Two very weak bullet points. One of them is talking about Mark, who lives in San Diego, and the second one goes into Shanann bashing yet again, right? She couldn't help herself. She's like, yeah, I haven't bashed Shanann for like 3 bullet points. I'm missing it. I'm having withdrawals here. Let me just add some victim bashing in here. And then she goes ahead and adds that Chris told her that Shanann was responsible for embezzling money from a company. This is all she remembers, apparently, from all of those calls that we just saw. Ericisa, thank you so much. Oh, I appreciate you. Aw, thank you. Thank you so much for the $5. All right, let's celebrate the super chat, super chat, super chat. We got a super chat, super chat. Thank you so much. Yes, and please don't forget to subscribe and like and share. So yeah, isn't this crazy? Yeah, she had to throw in last victim bashing. Again, compared to all the conversations that she was having with Chris, this is all she remembers, how Chris told her that Shanann embezzled money. Wow. Let's go ahead and look into Wednesday. So she skipped the entire 2 weeks that Chris and that Chris was in North Carolina, and now she goes to August 8th. Let's go ahead and look at August 8th. So August 8th is when Chris got back to Colorado. So now all of these are going to be in person, right? So in person, Chris Watts stops by the Frederick, Colorado Toyota dealership to pick up an order of touch-up paint and windshield wipers for my vehicle after he gets off work. So Chris just got back from a family trip. All right, a family trip where Nichol Kessinger claims that she told him to work on his relationship with his wife. Yet, as soon as he comes back, he already has responsibilities. The first responsibility to her, to Nichol Kessinger, is to pick up the paint and the windshield wipers that I ordered after you get off work, Chris. Yeah, he definitely has 2 full-on relationships going at the same time. Look at how she is expecting Chris to go and pick up the stuff that she ordered for her car after he gets off work. I pre-ordered the paint several weeks earlier. Look, she added a bullet point for this. She could have just added this to the previous sentence, but she didn't. She's like, I need to add more fluff. How many more bullet points can I add on August the 8th? Because, of course, she's not wanting to talk about the real things, right? She's not wanting to talk about what really happened on the 8th. She did not talk about how Chris went to the ultrasound. She didn't talk about how Chris canceled his Facebook account. She didn't talk about how Chris told her, because I'm sure he did, that he changed his screensaver on his phone to Dunes. She also didn't mention that she gave him a key to her apartment. And she did not mention that she Googled Chris marrying his mistress. Look at everything that she ignored. All of the things that she omitted from the 8th. We have way more details than what she included, right? Again, 3 weak little bullet points. And the second one, again, it could have been added into the first one. He brings them to my house sometime between 3 and 4:30 p.m. that day. Right, again. Useless information. Useless. Absolutely useless. Because again, Nichol Kessinger didn't add. I mean, there's a lot of other little things here that we didn't even see, right? It's oh yeah, right here. She didn't include when she checked Chris Watts and Shanann's Facebook. She didn't tell the police about how she Googled wedding dresses for 2 hours, right? Omitting a lot of valuable information. Things that do not incriminate her, she will not add to her list. And now, here we are. We're going to get into Saturday. Notice that she skipped Friday. She skipped 2 very important dates here. She talked about the 8th when she was Googling, "Will Chris Watson marry me, his mistress?" She skipped that, and then she skipped this other day, right? Chris Watts Googling an Audi. Who is he Googling it for, right? Remember, this is the same the day prior, Chris went to the Toyota dealership to pick up paint, and now the second day, the following day, he's Googling Audi. Chris Watts is logged into Instagram. Chris Watts took the day off. Chris Watts took a doll picture, right? The weird doll picture. Ow, my ear. The weird doll picture that he sent to Shanann that day. And then she also skipped the 10th, the same day that she took the day off. She went to a baseball game. Chris Watts met with somebody to pick up a fire stick. And then Chris Watts sent her the get home safe text, right? So she missed a very important day. She missed Friday, and just goes straight to Saturday, which, as we know, a lot of things happen on Saturday. So we're going to see if she included any of these important things, right? Googling three-way twister. Is she going to tell the cops that? Oh, I Googled three-way twister. Yeah, I like playing twister, but only when there's more players. It makes it more fun. The risk is a lot higher. I live life on the edge. All right. She likes risky business. And she's not going to, she'll probably mention, of course, she's going to mention she went to the Lazy Dog, but she's not going to mention that she Googled Saratoga or Shanann Watts or Ronnie Watts. She's not going to mention any of that. I'm willing to bet. I haven't even looked at it. We haven't looked at it, but let's just go ahead and just willing to bet she's not going to say anything. So all of these things are things that she is not going to mention. I bet. I'm willing to bet. Let's take a quick glance. I don't know. Did she? This is something that, yes, we will go ahead and go through this on our next live stream. But yeah, guys, that is all I have for you guys today. That is a lot that we went through. A lot of information, a lot of discrepancies, a lot of lies that she was caught in just her own written statement. Again, she typed this and she expected people to just look over it and be like, yeah, no, this all checks. Yeah, this all checks out. Yeah, no, definitely nothing to do with this murder. 100% innocent. Again, if we're just gonna look at the discrepancies, it tells us that she was lying, and the reasons that she was lying, again, make no sense compared to what she told the police, and the reasons that she lied do not make any sense. But as we will see, the lies continue, and they will continue, and they will get worse once we get into August 13th, the day of the murders. So yeah, we will be doing that in our next live stream, and our next live stream is scheduled for Sunday at 2 p.m. I love it, guys. Thank you so much for joining today's live stream. Thank you so much for all the collaboration and all the information that you guys have. And of course, I love the laughter, love the jokes. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Thank you all so much for the super chats. Special thanks to my moderators. Thanks to my members, and thank you to all of my subscribers. And thank you for watching. Yes, and yeah, before we leave, if you like this live stream, please go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and comment, like, and share. Thank you guys so much. Love you. Please take care, and I will have that poll up for you guys. I know many of you actually want to see daily live streams. So yeah, we will put up the poll, and then we will decide on a schedule from there. Thank you all so much. Love you. Take care.